Hello, I got one of these little gyro stabilizer units to try on one of my planes a while ago, and I tried it out a couple of days ago and took some footage of it and sort of recorded my impressions of it at the time. I've been trying a few things out like this recently. I tried making my own one with Arduino, which kind of worked alright, I think. And then I tried a bit more of an advanced one, the Feiyu DOS one, which also had an autopilot and GPS return to home and stuff. And this one here is pretty simple. It's basically fulfills the job that my Arduino one did, except it does pitch roll and also yaw as well. And it's in a much nicer package and probably wouldn't crash. I think my Arduino one was crashing occasionally. Anyway, so this is the listing here. I got it on Banggood, $14. And you get, if I have some photos here, that's the thing there. So it has a Delta, aka flying wing mix, which was quite important for what I was trying to do. It also has V-tail as well, which is good, I suppose, if you have a V-tail. And it lets you reverse the directions of... To be honest, I'm not sure what those reverse. I'm not sure if they reverse the direction that it's sensing or the direction of each individual output, because it took me bloody ages to get it to go to make it turn the ailerons the way that they were supposed to. And just above that we have some adjustments to make it more or less sensitive. So in the package you get that. So it's just 4 servo cable connectors. I think they're about 10 centimeters, maybe 15. Yeah. I can't remember. It's all. I've attached it to my Texumo now, so I can't really easily measure the length of those now. I'm sorry, but you can probably get an idea from the 1 centimeter grid on the desk how long they are, and a little bit of sticky double-sided foam tape to stick it on. I wanted to open it up to have a look what was inside, and you can see these little tabs here, but it was the devil's own work to try and get them open. God, I spent 25 minutes with a pair of pliers and a little screwdriver and other things to try and get it open, and I eventually took it outside and threw it against the concrete and cracked it like that, and then cracked it open from the back. So that's what is inside. It's a little bit annoying that it wasn't smaller because, well, on the Texumo it's okay, but I originally wanted to put this on my bonsai, but it's just a bit big really, and you can see the size of it. It's like 4 centimeters by 3 centimeters roughly, and it's probably a bit over a centimeter tall. But I guess they have to put those dip switches and those little variable resistor thingies somewhere. So that's what's on the top, not much there. The bottom we have the microcontroller, and the gyro is one of those. And I think that's about all the photos I have, so it's pretty simple. Nice that you can adjust these on there. You need quite a small screwdriver to do it though. So the manual for this was a little bit disappointing, to be honest. It's yeah, it's Chinese, and this is 100% Chinese here, and this is sort of about 20% Chinese and 80% English, as you can see from the way it starts off, and it continues in much the same vein all throughout. But it does convey, I guess, most of the important details, although it's not very good at it. I just wanted to point out one point which took me ages to notice. This piece here, long axis heads for the plane flying direction. So if you looked at this and you asked which is the long axis, you'd probably say this axis. So that in itself is, it's not very clear, and it does actually mention it in Chinese here, if I understand this correctly. This is this says the forward direction of flight, the arrow there, and obviously that's the long axis there. But it still doesn't tell you which way is supposed to be the front and which is the back, although perhaps that doesn't matter because you can yeah, I guess you can just reverse those as appropriate. What else do we have? Yeah, here's another point that wasn't very clear. Aileron out 1, elevator out, and then over here we've got the same thing. And I spent probably a little over 2 hours trying every combination I could think of those little tip switches, and every combination of, apart from rudder, of course, I didn't use that, but there's aileron out 2, elevator out, and aileron out 1. I tried every possible combination of these three on both of my Elevon servos, and every possible combination I could think of switching AIL and LA there, and I just could not get it to work. And one other thing that I'm going to point out that might hopefully help somebody in future is, after probably a little over 2 hours of work, I finally made one change that seemed to be necessary for this stupid thing to work. Notice how the servo horn is going to the right. So if I just, on the right hand side is the wingtip, so the servo horn is pointing outward there. And over here I have it pointing to the right as well, so it's pointing inward here. This is not how I originally had it. I think most people would build their planes to be symmetrical, at least that's what I try to do. So this servo horn was actually pointing that way to begin with, and that gives it a much better angle to the hinge, what do you call this thing, that thing there. So you can see the angle is not ideal at the moment. Maybe if I hold it like that, there you go. So that's not how I wanted it to be, but I had to switch this from being on that side to here to get this gyro thing to work properly. So that was kind of annoying, but you can see it in there, and oops, there it is. Yeah, another thing that's a little bit annoying about these gyro systems is that you end up with a huge rat's nest of wires because you need 4 extra connections. You also need the rudder cable connected as well. Even though I'm not using rudder here, it won't function without some PWM input on all 3 inputs. So I guess you could connect, if you had a 3-channel receiver that only had throttle and pitch and roll, like on one of my other receivers, that might be a bit of a problem because there's nothing to give the rudder input from. But you could just connect the signal pin of one of your either your pitch or roll channel on your 3-channel receiver and connect that to your rudder on the gyro input. That would probably just get it to work at least. And then the throttle just bypasses this gyro thing altogether, so throttle has nothing to do with it. Yeah, so obviously I've taken the Feiyu DOS autopilot off of here, and I'm using this little cavity where the GPS was to put my video transmitter, and it makes it quite a bit lighter, and I get nice, well, I get a little bit more flight time out of it after taking the autopilot thing off. Let's just go back to that. Yeah, it does actually say that. It says these 3 wires must be connected, otherwise gyro can't work. So you do need to have pitch, roll, and your connections all connected. I don't think there's much else to say here. So I'll just show you a bit of video from the first time I tried this. And it's another one of those videos where I don't know how interesting these are to watch, because I'm just sort of trying to think of something to say as I concentrate on flying it. And half of the time you can't see the plane very well because it's far away. So I'll put a bit of the onboard footage on for you to watch, and that will let you see the flutter or the wobbling that is occasionally occurring while I'm flying. And yeah, probably not the most interesting of videos, but suffice to say this gyro does actually work fairly well once you manage to get the directions right. So I think for $14 it's okay. It would be nice if it was a bit smaller, and it would be nice if you did not need to connect something to rudder in. Other than that, it's okay. Okay, let's just check. Okay, I think we're good. Turn this on so you can see what it looks like from there. And hopefully this will go without a hitch. Oh, that's good. Oh, it's nice. Yeah, that's good. I've noticed though that when you're flying line of sight, you tend to miss some of the smaller bumps and wobbles, and then when you're looking at it afterwards in the onboard camera, you can see everything. But for a first run, with middle positions on both of the gains, it's pretty good. In fact, I don't think I'd really even bother to adjust the gains much after this. I'll try putting them higher just for the sake of this video, really. Just to see if we're going to get any negative effects like wobble or shuddering or anything. What about high speed? Oh, it makes a lot of noise, but it doesn't go a whole lot faster. Oh yeah, I can see some wobbling there. Yeah, there's a little bit of flutter. So I think we could use a little bit less gains and roll, I think it is. It's the problem. Yeah, it's roll. Pretty sure that's roll. So roll gain needs to be reduced. Pitch looks fine though. Yeah, I think it's okay for pitch. Yay! Alright. So let me just bring it down and we'll reduce the roll gains a little bit. Oops, shit. Over here. Over here, over here. Over here, over here. Ah. Not quite what I was trying to do. That flutter didn't always show up though, so it's a bit hard to know immediately whether it's changed much. I think it showed up in this situation, heading into the wind at medium speed. Seems to be reduced. Oh, that's pretty stable. Oh, nice. There's still a flutter of some kind though. I wonder what that is. I think it's still roll actually. Maybe the roll needs to go even less. That's me. I'll take the roll down a tiny bit, and I'll take the pitch down a little bit too, because just a tiny little bit. Oh, that's quite smooth. At least from my viewpoint here, it looks really smooth. Ah, that's nice. A little bit of flutter there, but I think the setting I made was an improvement, so I'm just going to leave it that way. Into the wind. The wind is quite steady today, which is nice. It's not a gusty wind. Oh, that's really good. Yeah. Okay, I think it's time to do some FPV with this now. There's almost no wind today, which makes this quite pleasant. I seem to have... I just cleaned the lens of the run cam, but there's some sort of a white fogginess over the top of it by the looks of it. Maybe I left a little too much saliva on it. But as far as the gyro stabilization goes, it's quite nice. Especially when you're heading downwind, I think is the nice way. So this is basically, we're heading into the wind right now. Oops, just adjusting my goggles. There's a tree, let's say hello to the tree. Oh. Some more trees. Say hello to the more trees. So as you can see, there's a bit of a bump every now and then, but I'm pretty sure it's, from what I saw flying line of sight, it's definitely an improvement over the fully manual control. See if I can get through here. I did it before without any trouble. Oh, a little bit bumpy. Yeah, I think the wind's picked up after my flight just before because it's a bit bumpier now. Alright, so this is heading... Oh, sorry, no. This is heading approximately downwind here. It's about the same. Pick up the speed a bit. I did that before too, but I think I'll just skip it for now. Seems to be a bit bumpier. Give it another try, shall we? Yeah. I'm a lot less nervous about that when I do it with the bonsai rather than the Texumo, of course. Let's try a full speed run. See what happens. So I've got it up to full throttle now. Oh. That was full throttle. It's fairly bumpy. Glide a little bit. Motor back on. You know, it just occurred to me that I've never actually flown this Texumo FPV without any gyro stabilization. Because the other time I did an FPV flight with this was when I had the FY, the Feiyu DOS autopilot on it. So I don't really have a good comparison to what it's like flying manually, I suppose. Do this. Let's do this. Got the house. Who's that guy down there? be just about time for this battery to run out, I think. See if I can do a roll. Inverted flight. Oh. Well, as you can see, it's definitely not as smooth as it looks in line of sight. Okay. Battery done.